Opinions of Equity Media, its management, staff, or affiliates of WBOK.
Hello and welcome to this edition of Dr. Clark's 101, the Living Classroom. And today we're going to talk Politics 101 with Professor George Amedee. And Dr. Amedee, greetings and welcome.
Welcome. Glad to be here.
Yeah, how you been?
I've been okay with trying to get accustomed to retirement.
The retirement, oh yeah. So this is
trying to screen all the million calls now that people.
This is your first holiday, huh?
Absolutely.
After retirement.
So that was had a nice Thanksgiving and I really enjoyed it with family.
Oh yes, indeed. When you're retired, everybody calls you. They think you're free, but
absolutely.
you're not.
That's right. That's right.
You have so many obligations.
Oh, too many. Too many already.
But that's awesome, and there's so much. The one thing about it is that politics never stops.
Oh, 24/7.
It never stops, and looking at it, and there's so much that's on our plate today. I'd like to talk about, and if we can begin, let's talk about some federal politics on the national level. And this president has been making a lot of noise and a lot of waves, and in particular, we're looking now with 15,000 troops. 15,000 troops on outside of Venezuela in the Caribbean, and we're gonna look and see what's taking place over there. And he's turning Latin America upside down between Venezuela, Panama, Colombia. What's going on? What do you think? What's your impression at this point?
Constitutionally, the power to declare war lies with Congress. However, and this is kind of a balancing act, the president constitutionally has the power to protect the United States and its citizens from any outside enemies, any threats, any things that will endanger the United States. So that's always been a balancing act. So here, which I think is interesting, is the question is the activities that he's perceiving in Venezuela, does it constitute an imminent threat? And we don't know that. All we know is he interprets it as an imminent threat to the citizens of the United States without the presentation of evidence, without any information that would support, that the idea that something that's going on in Venezuela relative to the drug situation, drug cartel, is perceived as an imminent threat and requiring the president to take action in escalating to the point where, I understand that there's some Caribbean nations that are afraid to even set their boat out into the to the Gulf.
Well, what we have here as well is that President of Colombia, Petro, he has said that look, be careful, don't poke the jaguar.
Right.
And Trump has indicated. President Trump has indicated that, hey, we know where the drug dealers are, we know their pathway, we know where they live, we know where they stay. And so you look at Panama, you look at Colombia, you look at Venezuela. These are countries which are led by strong men, and to some extent, by going into these countries, you may very well be giving more power and more strength to the strong man, because
Absolutely.
as opposed to
Absolutely.
believing that you're gonna that
Absolutely.
everyone's gonna harness
And
around
then
them.
some
Yes,
believe
sir.
that the bottom line of it is oil.
Well, in Venezuela in particular, it is
Yeah,
oil with
it's
all
oil.
of the reserves, the largest
Exactly.
reserves in the Western Hemisphere, and we do have a caller, and let's see, we do have a caller. Yes, sir. Yes. Welcome to Dr. Clark's One-on-One, the Living Classroom.
Good morning. Can
Yes,
you hear me?
yes, we hear you. We have
You
you,
can hear
Dr.
me?
Clark's Living Classroom. Yes.
How you doing?
Oh.
This is Michonne Copeland. How you doing?
Oh, real
Hey,
good.
Michonne.
Yes.
Well, first I initially called for Dr. Amity when he first came on and said he'd been screening calls, but you've definitely been screening me, Doc, not answering me. So can I leave my number with the guy that answers the phone so you can call me, please? I
Oh,
would
yes,
appreciate
of course.
Absolutely.
You know I'm always available for you.
Yeah. You've been screening me.
I have. You must have
Yeah.
the wrong number, because I would never.
Well, let's hope that.
No, I know
you love me.
that.
I
I
love you
know
too.
that. It's not hope. Yeah. No. I haven't screened you. You know, I'm not saying I
Okay.
don't do screening, but you must have
Yeah.
my wrong telephone number. But I'll get back.
Okay, I'm going to leave my number with
Okay.
the guy. But I want to engage in a conversation since I heard a little bit of it. I just feel like what the orange guy is doing, blowing up boats and carrying on and making sure he went back and got the other two that lived that was trying to hold on, is a bunch of bullcorn, like everything else he does for the most part. Because if he was worried about the drug cartel, why would he be or have released the former Honduran president that was one of the biggest drug cartels ever?
Yes,
Only
indeed.
served not even a year and was given 45 years. So let's make it make sense. But we can't make anything make sense that he's a part of, unfortunately. So I'm
Good
going to
point.
listen, and I want to leave the number. I'm sorry. Say it again.
That's a good point.
Well, thank you. And
So-
we see we have your number and send around to take
No,
the number.
can he get me back so I can give the number that he could give to Doc when it's over, whatever?
Yes, absolutely. And actually, your number is here.
Okay, good. Well,
Yeah, you can
Doc,
call
get
back,
it
yeah.
and call me whenever you can, please.
Will
Absolutely.
do. No problem.
Thank you. All
Take
right.
care. Good hearing from you.
See, when they can't get you, they get you on the radio. That's the way it works in America.
I don't get that. I mean, you know,
We're gonna get
she
you the-
knows where I
in
live.
some form or fashion. We will find
You know, so I can't believe that. You know, she's not afraid to come knock on my door. You know, so that doesn't add up.
Well, yeah, America's always had, and before we move to another subject, America has had a long history in the Caribbean and involving itself in the Caribbean and in Latin America in particular. And we go back to even in the 70s and 80s, Allende, Pinochet, and Chile and Argentina and that sort of thing. And so it's almost as if we're going back to the 19th century style politics where this president is saying, my domain is the Western Hemisphere, and we'll let Putin and company, the Russians, let they have their domain, and we'll let the People's Republic of China have its own domain. We're going to that kind of politics
Well, you know,
again. Yes.
the way I see it
Spheres
is
of
the
influence.
people, and you can go
Yeah.
back, you know, the Shah Iran,
Right,
Noriega.
right.
All these people were Mobutu Sese Seke. All
Yes.
these people were clients of the United States and the CIA. So, but now we see, and there may have been a different rationale, but here we see where and we see this also in the domestic front with the people who've committed atrocities relative to the January 26th, Rudy Giuliani, the Epstein's associate. If you're Trump's people, then the law is applied in a different way.
Regardless of your party, regardless of your
Regardless of
affiliation,
party.
because he just pardoned today before we went on air. Trump just pardoned the Congress. Basically the congressman from South Texas, and because he's a Democrat, and they thought he was going to turn and become a Republican. But they said there's no deal that's being made. But as it stands out, because he was an individual that really opposed Biden's border policy.
Right.
So you're right, as you say, if you're my people,
You're my
regardless
people,
of your affiliation,
and in the 60s, it was, my Negroes.
yeah, right. Leanna Perez.
Yeah,
right.
that's
Only
right.
ones I like are mine.
Mine. That's right.
It's an
That's
amazing
right.
thing. Yeah.
So that translate throughout time.
Yes, and before we move on to another subject matter, but I just want to just get your idea about heads rolling. And when you look at the Pentagon, when you look at individuals, when you for one thing, when you blow individuals out the water, boats out the water, and all we know is that they say they were smuggling drugs. We have no evidence of it, nothing about
at
it.
all.
But then come back and violate every aspect of international
law.
and kill the survivors who were hanging on.
Exactly.
And so
The witnesses.
Yes. What is it? The witnesses.
The witnesses. So,
Yes.
yeah.
It just leaves a bad taste in your mouth.
Yeah, it does. We're at a point where every aspect of public policy it is being questioned. Trump's rationale, whether it's the immigration piece with ICE, whether it's tariffs, whether it's the economy, the decisions that are being made here are being questioned, and the problem is that there appear not to be any real checks. We have a system of checks and balances that the majority in the Congress is the Republicans, and only outcries you hear with Democrats and a handful of some Republicans, not even a handful. So that check is not in place. And then the Supreme Court, by its very nature, has a reactionary policy. In other words, the Supreme Court cannot initiate consideration of actions of the president, that a case has to be brought, and we know the timing of that. And so this is both a Congress and a Supreme Court that favors a strong executive. And so we wait to see what's going to happen. But the timing, President Trump is taking advantage of the void that's there based on, or the timing or the gap between challenges of his power and actual decisions of the court and the lack of action by Congress.
Let's talk about immigration policy before we move forward and talk about some things which are closer to home. We see what happened to the Afghan who was in the United States and went to Washington, D.C. and shot two individuals, part of the National Guard. We all understand that. And this was a person that came to the United States. He came under the Biden administration, vetted by Biden and also vetted by the Trump administration. And now this president has said that at this point he wants a review of all Afghans who have come to America. He wants also a review of 19 countries he's looking at, including those from Somalia. And I know you've heard his recent statements about Somalia, where he said that what this president said, that garbage country come to America and they complain about America, and the Congresswoman Omar that she should go back, and all of the individuals who come from Somalia should go back. It seems as though there's an attack on black and brown immigrants, naturalized citizens. See, all of this needs to be reviewed, and I'd like to get your sense of.
Well, when I was a
Talk to me.
student at Louisiana State University in New Orleans, as a sophomore, we had the opportunity of a visit from a young Klansman, had not been declared a Klansman, but his name was David Duke.
Right.
And we were in the audience. All of us packed it because our idea was to protest his speech. And he made a similar statement and he went all through every country, especially those of color, and said they need to go back to their country. And one of our professors at that time was a Professor Sanford, who had come from SUNO and had transferred to LSUNO. And he made the statement, he said, well, the only people who are indigenous to this land are the Native Americans. And that African Americans, people of African descent, the vast majority came without their consent. They were brought here. So he's saying, are you saying in your statement that people from Greece should go back to Greek, people from Italy should go back to Italy, people from England should go back to England, people from Russia and of course, so we have to understand that this statement of go back for which you belong is especially a statement of a segregationist Klansman who want a country that operates on the premise of white supremacy. That's what it means to me. And unfortunately, some of our sisters and brothers of color did not see that prior to the election, but they're seeing it now. After they, voted for this particular person.
Yeah, exactly. And a lot of people they discover now what it's like to be black in America.
Absolutely.
That's what the brown individuals and other people of color are discovering about.
Absolutely.
Now let's come closer to home. We see now that that within the next 30 days or so, you're going to see greater influence of the federal troops here in New Orleans, and they've been invited by the governor, and they've been accepted by the mayor to the extent. In other words, they're going to do what they have to do, and the federal troops in South Louisiana, in New Orleans in particular, and also they're going to be in North Baton Rouge and also in Mississippi. That's where they're designated to be. So, your thoughts on the troops on the ground here in South Louisiana?
Well, there are many different theories about that. One is that it's a precursor to declaring a national emergency, and where the president would already have a military presence in cities, particularly those cities that we know that are predominantly Democratic cities, and that are predominantly people where the majority are people of color. But the issue here is whether or not there is some legal grounds or legal basis, once again, for the action of the president, and who's going to step up to the plate, whether the Supreme Court is going to step up to the plate. And they have, in their previous rulings, been on the side of the president in this particular area. With respect, and of course, what he's using as his basis for law has no relevance to what is going on. So that leaves only one real method of resistance, and that's action of the people taking it to the street. And of course, I think that falls right into the president's hands. He wants to create chaos so that he can declare control.
Not to fall for the bait of engaging in the type of civil disobedience he wants you to do. He would like for America
he would like
to
for
engage
it.
in.
And of course, I'm not. And of course, he hasn't set out, in my opinion, the rules of engagement. Do they have a list of people that they suspect are illegal, or is it a racial profiling environment that African Americans had to go through, where if you're black you get stopped driving while black?
Precisely, and I would suggest as well is that he's telegraphed the punches. So he's telegraphed this in each city of the way they've gone and said, we're going to be there in 30 days, in 60 days, what we're preparing. And so individuals who are Hispanic descent have an ability to make their plans to do what you need to do, to exit the city or protect yourself, whatever kind of form or fashion. And he's letting you know in advance he's coming. So in my view, to some extent, that gives you prep time. And so you need to pay attention to the prep time because it is all a game that's being played, but it's a game with people's lives. And the bottom line of this game is deportation, ICE, and also the theater that exists, that theater that exists, that show. Yes, sir.
There is one more saving grace,
Yes.
in my opinion.
Yes.
And we see that happening now. And that is the damage that it's being done with respect to the economy. We've seen on television how businesses, not just those that are owned by Latinos, and the businesses are hurting. The overall policy and the economy of tariffs, when combined with this immigration policy, is really hurting the economy. And that is because the economy that this president wants is an economy that really is catered to the rich. And if all you have to look at, that there are people who are making millions and millions and billions of dollars, but they have some type of program that give them money that they don't really need. Whereas small businesses, farmers, same problem. The large farmers, it's a different impact. But if you look at marginalized farmers and the efforts by Beginning Farmers Coalition to develop policies that are sensitive to the beginning farmers, veteran farmers, marginalized farmers, black farmers, it's going to be whether or not the Congress is going to take this up, because the economy is being ruined. The jobs are not what it's supposed to be. And even though they gain unexpectedly jobs, we see at the beginning of the month some 32,000 jobs and more being announced. So that is the saving grace if the impact on the economy is severe, where the bottom line is either going to have a call for the business interest for him to do something about it, or we can look forward to the midterm elections.
Let's look at New Orleans. Mayor-elect. She's chosen her team, and we have all looked at the team, the people who are part of her team, and your impressions now over the past few weeks that she's been elected, and her selection of her team and what she's doing. And what resonates with you at this point with Helena Miranda and her executive leadership?
Well,
yes.
I'm from the Earl Amity School of Thought. My dad.
Hey.
You fight like hell during the election, and then when you're defeated, to the victor goes the spoils. It may sound strange. So in that sense, I kind of refrain from criticizing early. We used to for the president, we'd say the first 100 days. So this person is not in office yet. They're in a transition period. Some of the people, I don't know much about them. I know Michael Harrison, Jeruso, who initially said he was going to be in the private sector, but people have the right to change their mind. But from my perspective, I at least have to wait till they get in office and see what they're going to do, because to the victor goes the spoils not only means that all of the benefits or the trappings, as well as the trappings of the office, belong to the elected person, but the person elected absolutely has the right to choose who the hell they want. And so, we should have been arguing about this before the election.
Yeah.
So so we have to wait and see, in my opinion. But thus far, there's seem to be a unified council. I do think wasting time on continuously criticizing, Mayor LaToya Cantrell is non-productive and may have been is a continuation of some of the food. I mean, that's with Donald Trump. I mean, if Donald Trump actually, excuse my expression, craps on himself, he's going to blame Biden. You know what I'm saying?
well, she's already indicated. I saw in one of the pieces just now recently is that she had Mayor Cantrell had 3 cars. She only needs 1.
Tell it is what.
Yeah.
You know, that's petty. I don't know why she has 3 cars. But at any rate,
I don't know why you only need 1.
The problem I have is that this council and this current mayor, there was some indication about this problem, and there was nothing done. And that's the job of the council as watchdog to oversee those. And so that's my problem. But I'm moving on from that.
Yeah.
Because the people elected this mayor, and we have an opportunity to see and then criticize.
Where would you like to see her initiative? Any initiatives you would like to see her look at first? Or should I say first, be a part of the priority?
Well, you know, of course, the economy is my priority. I know crime is what most people talk about, but to me, the crime and the economy are tied together, and it did appear as though that was a priority. There was a study for the New Orleans East. That money was taken with respect to trying to balance the budget, but still the idea of I want to see, I know public safety is an important aspect, but to me, the 2 are related: public safety, crime, and things like entrepreneurship, economic development, minority business, those kind of things. I'd like to hear more about that.
The quality of life issues.
Quality of life issues.
And you and I both have gone through a number of administrations, and we've seen the hypes and some administrations come in with flair, some come in with involving the community. And I remember when Mark Morial was elected his first term, it was big highlights. He had different committees on housing, on education, and whatnot. Everyone brings in their own personality of leadership, and that's what I think is something that.
But he did. Mark Morial did address some economic development issues.
Precisely.
He appointed someone to head the African unit so he had a focus on that.
International Affairs,
and
Office
of
at the World
course,
Trade Center. Yeah.
I personally know that he went to Folgers and other major companies and said, "Look, you got to hire black people in high level positions." So this is the kind of thing you need to see from me.
That we would like to see. And our time is, and we're about to roll on out. And any final statement before we exit today?
Watch the Supreme Court.
Oh, yes.
Because if that firewall for tariffs and other things that are being done doesn't hold up, we're in trouble.
Oh, 100%. Again, this is Dr. Clark's One-on-One, a living classroom, with my guest as we talk today, Politics 101 with Professor George Amedee. And again, you can follow me on all platforms of social media. And as always, it's been a pleasure.
All right, guys.
Oh, yes.